When Union Minister Piyush Goyal made this statement asking for more innovations from our startup sector, he was roundly criticized.
What are India's startups doing today? We are focused on food delivery apps, turning unemployed youth into cheap labor so the rich can get their meals without moving out of their house.
Many thought that he was being needlessly harsh on an ecosystem which was thriving on high energy. But now, within a week of that statement that was made by the minister, one of India's most celebrated, most feted startup founders, made famous by the EV cab service BluSmart, Anmol and Puneet Jaggi, are in serious regulatory trouble. Also the same week, another favored startup founder, the Byju's man, Byju Ravindran, also is ending up facing allegations of siphoning of money of investors who had reposed their faith in him. Honestly, this 1 week has been the most telling story of deception, personal corruption, and regulatory infractions in the entire startup ecosystem in our country. In the case of the Jaggi brothers, they used some rather creative accounting loopholes in the corporate and company laws to use money that had been raised from the market and the government to put the fund into separate funds. SEBI, which is now going to have a complete forensic audit of the entire account book of this company BluSmart, has already barred the brothers and some others from trading in the stock markets of this company. But before that, they were freely distributing money as favors to themselves and to their family members. In fact, SEBI's own 20-page order that was made public on the 15th of April now exposes just how deep this rot really was. Take a look for yourselves. First up, a loan is taken from IREDA. What is IREDA, you may ask? It is the Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency, which is like a public limited, government-owned, non-banking finance company. This company gives loans for energy projects. The Jaggis were the face of clean energy and mobility in India. They were probably a shoo-in for a loan from this company. IREDA gives a loan to Gensol, which is the company meant to buy these electric vehicles for BluSmart, of a total sum of 71.39 crores. The day this loan hits the Gensol's bank account, this company transfers a sum of 93.88 crores to Go Auto, which is its vehicle supplying company. Before the end of the day, Go Auto moves a sum of 50 crores to another company, which is owned by the two Jaggi brothers. Within a week, that company moves almost 43 crores to DLF Limited, and lo and behold, penthouses coming, fancy apartments, great cars, and the lifestyle of the high and mighty. That money ended up buying an apartment in the super luxurious Camellias in Gurugram, already home to many other startup founders as well as legacy firm owners. The SEBI document lists an entire set of payments that were made under a subhead called Utilization of Funds by Anmol Singh Jaggi. Now look at some of the interesting expenditures which have been incurred by Anmol Singh Jaggi. Sum of 6.2 crores given to Mr. Jaggi's mother, sum of 2.98 crores given to Mr. Jaggi's wife, sum of 1.86 crores in dirham, in forex, to buy real estate, sum of 26 lakhs spent to buy what? A golf set, 17 lakhs spent in buying fancy Titan watches, 9 lakhs spent on credit card payments. And by the way, the same agency which was giving this loan, the IREDA, ended up giving away 977 crores to Gensol company between 2021 and 2024. Of this sum, which was given between 2021 and 2024, 664 crores was meant for buying 6,400 electric vehicles. IREDA was told that the vehicles were bought and had been leased to BluSmart, which is a related company. But now SEBI documents reveal that instead of 6,400, only 4,704 electric vehicles were actually bought. This situation with Gensol now means basically that IREDA will most likely have to write off an estimated loan of 550 crores as bad loans. That's your money and that's my money. SEBI also now says that Gensol misled the stock markets in its regulatory disclosures. In fact, as late as 28th of January this year, the company declared at the Bharat Mobility Expo that the company had received orders for 30,000 more new electric vehicles. Further investigations, however, now reveal that the orders were actually not orders. They were just interests that were being shown without any commitment to buy anything, which means it was just an IOU, an understanding document. So much so that when the NSE officials, the National Stock Exchange officials, when they made a visit to the company's manufacturing unit in Pune, it found no activity at all. And in fact, just a few workers were spotted there who were effectively lounging around. The list of misdemeanors, financial diversions, funding of personal lifestyles is a very, very long one. And honestly, this is not the first company which has been caught like this. This is just the case of Gensol. These violations will also end up impacting BluSmart, which was seen as a much cleaner alternative to Uber. Now, BluSmart is in talks to be subsumed by its own competitor. But this story is not about Gensol. It's not just restricted to Byju's. Another very famous biryani chain called Biryani by Kilo is also struggling to justify how some of the expenses which it had incurred for its investors, how are those expenses being really justified? This is a story about business ethics. This is a story about how legacy business news channels, the pink press, has given a certain legitimacy to many of these actions which are incurred by these so-called great startup founders. It has created a playbook of sorts. So what do? They start hyping up these startups, their stock prices, breathlessly showcasing them as champions of change, champions who are driving this new age Indian economy. They're feted, they're felicitated at glittering public functions, on many occasions by top government authorities themselves. And where does it lead to? It leads you to that fancy apartment in Camellias for the owners and the founders of companies like BluSmart, and the money which has been spent by government-backed agencies like the IREDA, which consists of your money and my money, that money goes waste. Some media list creates a 30 under 30 or a 40 under 40 kind of a major list of high and mighty. It ends up becoming an aspirational product for a large chunk of our country. This aspirational class in our country has identified this mechanism of siphoning of money. The business media clearly is either being ignorant of this very, very clear flaw which exists before us, or it's simply put, just another ally in this entire exercise. The company's funds were being routed to related parties and used for unconnected expenses. This is what is being stated by SEBI in the case of the Jaggi brothers. It goes on to say that it seems as if the company's funds were promoters' piggy banks. If this is not a damning statement which tells you what is rotten in the state of startup ecosystem in our country, then you will never be able to figure out what should be the solution. As for the investors who have lost their money, whether it's BluSmart or Biryani by Kilo or Byju's, the story remains the same. Well, you gave the checkbook, you didn't enforce the right auditing clauses, your money is gone. The promoter, the founder is laughing all the way to the bank. The investors are left ruined. High time that the government agencies created a template to figure out some kind of a solution to this problem in our startup.